The ongoing legal battle between Gina Carano and Disney simmers on in the background, and well, there's a couple of updates that are there, but the long story short is Gina continues winning and Disney continues taking L's. We'll start with the small and we'll work our way up to the bigger developments, but this one right here, like, this is just petty, man. Okay, Disney attempts to erase Gina Carano by leaving her off of ESPN's list of top women fighters in MMA. Now, if you're talking about active fighters, I mean, obviously, like, I don't think that she's been in the cage since, oh lord, the early 2010s, whenever Strikeforce was still around. Obviously, like, it's been a minute, but if you're going to talk about pioneers and names synonymous with women's combat sports, it's like, you would be foolish. It's like Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano. Everybody else is, third, and you can all fight for the last podium position. Wherever you want to put Gina, wherever you want to put Ronda, like them or not, they're right up there. Without Gina, without her fight against Cyborg, nobody would give a flying crap. Dana White wouldn't have even given a second thought to paying attention to what Ronda Rousey was doing and ultimately integrating a women's division into the octagon. Like, that's just facts, okay? But at least, good to Dana, shout out to him. He calls out Disney for that egregious omission, okay? So in what can only be described as another stunning example of Disney rewriting history, ESPN, the sport media giant owned by Disney, released a list of the top 10 women who changed MMA in the 21st century, completely excluding Gina Carano. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, features names like Ronda Rousey, Amanda Nunes, Holly Holm. Really? I mean, she upset Ronda Rousey, but outside of that, she played Clubber Lang to Ronda Rousey's Rocky in Rocky 3, but outside of that, man, Holly really didn't do much. But okay, yeah, if you're gonna do combat sports, Holly Holm, decorated boxer before she stepped into the cage, but really, I was presented with and then Chris Cyborg Santos, who really, like, her best years were behind her by the time that she came into the I was going to say the Fed, but yes, the UFC anyways, but champions, trailblazers, Hall of Famers, and icons. These stars shattered stereotypes and elevated women's MMA to unprecedented heights. But okay, cool. If you're going to do a top 10, yeah, I think all of those names are probably fine. I would also have, Miesha Tate in there as well. The first two division champion, I think. Obviously you're going to have Joanna Jędrzejczyk, what's her name there? Shevchenko, probably the Chinese chick who's just kicking ass right now. But realistically, man, like, not having Gina Carano on the Trailblazers, women who changed MMA in the 21st century. The fact that I just said, the Chinese chick, I think it's Jalen Wei or some shit like that. But yeah, the fact that you're going to make a top 10 list and not have its brightest star, that's like saying, okay, guys that changed MMA in the 21st century and not having Chuck Liddell. It's like, okay, cool, it's a name from a bygone era, but without him, bruh. But somehow the woman who literally brought women's MMA to a national spotlight, who headlined the first major televised female MMA fight and helped establish the sport's legitimacy. Yeah, no, she got named. Cyborg Santos is right there. Didn't even get a mention. Even UFC president Dana White wasn't having it. He blasted the list and called out Disney for this slight. Gina Carano not being on this list is insane. Carano never wanted to back down, took to X to clap back to Disney and ESPN directly. But yeah, we can get bogged down in the weeds on that one. And that right there, well, yeah, that's just an opportunity for everybody to go, yo, ESPN, if we didn't think that your credibility was totally circling the drain at this point in time, this just, I don't know, man. This is the last straw, because there is no way in hell, okay? There's no way in hell you can accurately tell the story of mixed martial arts without the name Gina Carano. 2009 was her last fight. Holy crap, yeah. But still, that was a fight, man. I remember that face-off. That was huge. And yeah, Cyborg absolutely ragdolled Carano, but if it wasn't for her elevated star power, that was a fight that never would have gotten showcased, and it would have taken a little while longer for women's MMA to get proper recognition. It's just, this is the first, and it's the most consequential, with the two biggest stars at the time squaring off. But that was an easy W. And now things on the legal front, well, now this is where it ends up getting a little bit more shaky, at least in the early innings. Later we go into the game, things get a lot more spicy. Gina Carano accuses a Disney of stonewalling as trial date delayed to 2026. Motion to compel filed after 8 months of reported deflection and stalling. Yeah, because this is one of these high-powered legal battles that normally Disney can go ahead and strong-arm their opponents into just simply submitting or accepting some sort of a settlement. But here's the thing. Gina Carano has Elon Musk backing when it comes to her lawyers. And also, Gina Carano comes from a very wealthy Las Vegas-based family. So yeah, even if she was to go up against Disney, yeah, it would have still cost a lot of money. But if you're fighting this lawsuit, especially, we know how petty Elon Musk is. And this is one of the best opportunities for him to really stick it to Disney. He's going to ride it out. And Gina, like I said, she comes from a very wealthy family. She's well off in and of herself. She just simply wants to get back into Hollywood out of sheer boredom at this point in time. And especially with just this overemphasis of girl bosses and, just unbelievable women beating the brakes off of 250, 300-pound men. I mean, like, Gina Carano should be the biggest actress in the world right now. She just happens to hold contrary politics. Therefore, yeah, she's just been blackballed from the industry. But let's take a look at this. Okay, a legal showdown and upcoming trial between the Mandalorian and Deadpool star Gina Carano and entertainment behemoth Disney just took another dramatic turn. In a new statement posted to X, Carano announced that her attorneys have filed a motion to compel after waiting 8 months for basic discovery materials Disney has allegedly refused to provide. That's wild, man. You're going against terms of discovery. That is super illegal, okay? Documents in question are essential for Carano's damages experts to properly assess the financial impact of her high-profile firing from The Mandalorian in early 2021, an event that launched one of the most public employment disputes in Hollywood history. Yes. It's been 8 months since my lawyers first requested basic documents and information from Disney that my damages experts need, Carano posted. Throughout the case, Disney Lucasfilm have deflected and stalled. My trial date has now moved from December to next February. It's such a punch to the gut for an artist. Carano's lawyers at Schaefer Jaffe LLP, a firm known for taking on First Amendment and constitutional cases, filed a motion on April 2nd, 2025, asking the court to force Disney to comply. According to Carano, her legal team has gone above and beyond in cooperating with Disney's legal department, yet Disney continues to withhold routine documents commonly disclosed in litigation of this kind. But like I said, the early innings was going to be pretty bad for Gina. But as we update this right now, Gina Carano wins big against Disney in a lawsuit discovery battle. Judge orders Disney to hand over actor pay records within 20 days. By the end of the month, Disney is going to have to put up or shut up, and we're going to be getting some interesting details, I'd imagine. And a major legal victory for Gina Carano in her lawsuit against Disney. U.S. District Court, the Central District of California, has granted the motion to compel Disney to turn over key documents related to how other Star Wars actors were compensated, including big names like Pedro Pascal, Rosario Dawson, and the cast of Mandalorian and Grogu. The order comes after 8 months of what Carano described as Disney deflecting and stalling in her wrongful termination lawsuit. The court ordered, issued in case number forces Disney to comply within 20 days, handing over verified spreadsheets showing how actors were paid across The Mandalorian, related Disney Plus shows, and the upcoming film. The ruling partially grants Carano's motion to compel, marking a pivotal moment in the ongoing battle between Cara Dune actress and one of Hollywood's largest media corporations. Discovery motion granted in Gina Carano's case against Disney, wrote her attorney Jean Scher on X. The court is forcing Disney to turn over information about how stars like Pedro Pascal, Rosario Dawson, and others from The Mandalorian and the other Disney Plus Star Wars shows, and then the forthcoming movie, The Mandalorian and Grogu, were compensated for those roles. And yeah, if you're not apprised of the full situation, or if you've just lost track of some of the details over the years, allow me to reprise you of such information. Gina Carano was supposed to have her own show. Okay, it was very likely that she was going to be a part of Mandalorian Season 3, potentially setting up that Rangers of the New Republic series that she was going to star in. Okay, she very much would have been a part of that brand new Mandalorian and Grogu movie, and then definitely the Filoni-verse wrap-up movie as well. So yeah, she was in line for a lot of money. A bunch of different paydays were right out there, but hey man, Disney very publicly fired her after she had the audacity to say, hey, we shouldn't let the government vilify us like what happened in Germany in the 40s. Like, that was probably a bad thing. And then Disney spun that as an anti-Semitic screed. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Tell me again why you wanted to go ahead and hire Rachel Zegler. But anyways, the motion to compel is basically a legal way of saying they're not giving us what they're supposed to. Judge, make them. Carano's legal team filed the motion back on April 2nd after 8 months of, stonewalling and obfuscation. So what's next? Where do we go from here? Well, the court didn't grant everything Carano asked for and gave her legal team the green light on several key points. Number one, Disney must produce actor compensation records within 20 days of the order. Number two, the documents must include verified spreadsheets and not vague summaries or cherry-picked numbers. Number three, the scope includes Mandalorian, other Disney Plus Star Wars series, and the upcoming Mandalorian and Grogu film. And number four, if the records are needed, Carano's lawyers can ask for additional evidence after reviewing what Disney hands over. In short, this isn't a minor win for the Carano Disney lawsuit. This opens the door to even more discovery of what experts believe the first batch isn't enough, which, yeah, that's a good start. And then there's also got to be communications about how other similar scenarios were handled behind the scenes, because you have Pedro Pascal just about doing the exact same from a flip reverse perspective after the 2020 election, calling half of the country Confederates and 1940s Germans enthusiasts. You have everything to do with Rachel Zegler and how many other ill-tempered actors and actresses that Disney has employed in subsequent years since her firing. There's a lot of stuff to discover, and it'll be somewhat interesting, mostly to see how Pedro Pascal's pay ended up, falling off from season 2 of The Mandalorian into season 3 when he was just simply a voice actor, and what all of these, because we know the inflated budgets of a lot of these Star Wars projects, okay? Like how much was spent on the quote-unquote talent, and what ended up happening with the rest of the budget, okay? Because that'll be interesting as well, because I personally, I'd like to see how much Amanda Stenberg and a couple of the other actors and actresses on the Acolyte got paid. That would be fun. Hopefully that ends up coming to light. But more importantly, this lays a good foundation as to how much money, how much tangible pay Gina Carano was robbed of after that knee-jerk reaction that ended up causing a firestorm and was one of the many straws that ultimately broke the Star Wars camel's back, space camels in this case. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.